Billionaire reveals 4 black credit cards to 4 women. What the maid did will change lives forever. Vanessa's heart raced as she navigated the sprawling penthouse of Victor Wright. The polished marble floors glimmered under the afternoon sun, a stark contrast to her humble apartment just a bus ride away. Here, in this world of glittering opulence, she was just a maid, her hands cramped from hours of scrubbing and mopping. But her 2 kids kept her going. Dreams of ballet lessons for her daughter and college tuition for her son danced in her mind as she worked. This job wasn't just about cleaning, it was about building a better future. After finishing the last of her tasks, she caught sight of Victor. His stature was commanding, but there was a warmth in his eyes that drew her in. She couldn't help but express her admiration for the way he had risen from humble beginnings to his current wealth. To her surprise, he stopped, intrigued by her spirit. "What's your dream, Vanessa?" he asked, his tone genuine. She hesitated, the words spilling out. "I want my kids to have opportunities to break free from this cycle." As she spoke, she felt something stir within her, a glimmer of hope igniting. With every word, she revealed the depths of her struggle, her fight against the odds. Victor listened, captivated. This brief exchange lingered in the air, intertwined with empathy and ambition. It sparked something in him, a vision to uplift others who understood her struggle. A few weeks later, the air in the community buzzed with excitement as Victor announced his initiative, for black credit cards for women who could turn their dreams into reality. The room erupted with whispers and smiles, but for Vanessa, time stood still. She raised her hand, heart in her throat, as her name echoed through the crowd. She was chosen. Her cheeks flushed with disbelief and excitement, her pulse quickening at the thought of a future where she could provide for her children without feeling suffocated by debt. Yet, shadows danced around her joy. As the other card recipients began to celebrate, murmurs of jealousy crept into conversations. Friends turned cool, and loyalty was put to the test. "You think you're better than us now?" echoed in her mind. Fear and doubt clawed at her chest as she tried to navigate the shifting tides of her relationships. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Vanessa could see it in their eyes, the resentment, the uncertainty. She felt the weight of her choices pressing down. The ambitious but kind-hearted woman from the building's lobby was fragile against the ambitions of the tight-knit community she'd grown up in. As she wrestled with how to hold on to her roots while trying to soar, it became evident that this wasn't just a battle for her own aspirations, but for the very fabric of their neighborhood's unity. With every glance filled with judgment and every whisper stinging, she realized she'd have to find her voice. The mission to uplift her community alongside her personal ambitions glistened precariously on the horizon. Would she rise, and at what cost? Would her choices alienate her from those she loved most, or would they stand with her against the storm? The stakes heightened, her heart pounded with the urgency of a next chapter waiting to unfold. Vanessa sat at her small kitchen table, the weight of the day heavy on her shoulders. Sunlight spilled through the window, casting warm hues across the peeling paint and chipped laminate. She glanced at her children, who played on the floor, oblivious to the storm brewing in their mother's heart. The laughter of her little ones was a sweet melody, but it was also a reminder of the responsibility she carried like a shield. As she traced the edge of the credit card resting in her pocket, doubts carved deep lines into her brow. The card had been a beacon of promise, but now it felt like a burden. She could see the shadows of jealousy and resentment creeping into relationships she'd cherished. How could something that was meant to uplift her community also push her away from it? That evening, she met with her closest friends for coffee at the corner diner. The air was thick with tension. Eyes that once sparkled with warmth were now shadowed with skepticism. They chatted about everyday life, but the undercurrents were undeniable. Vanessa, are you really going to take that chance? Sarah asked, stifling a look of concern. You know it will change everything. The question pierced Vanessa's heart. She considered the weight of those words and how they twisted like a knife. I never wanted to be different, Sarah. I just want to give my kids a chance, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, yet, the room felt electric with unsaid words. It was as if her friends thought that her success could cost them something, perhaps not just her friendship, but the very essence of their shared dreams. The silence grew thick like fog, wrapping around them and isolating her in a bubble of uncertainty. That night, Vanessa lay in bed with sleepless eyes staring at the ceiling. Memories of their laughter, the shared burdens, and the small victories they celebrated together filled her mind. She couldn't help but wonder if success came with the price of solitude. What if their laughter could turn into echoes of scorn, pushing her away from those she loved most? In the days that followed, the tension suffocated her. Every smile felt forced, and congratulations turned into thinly veiled daggers. One afternoon, while tidying up the penthouse, a thought struck her. What if she could turn things around? What if this credit card could also be a bridge, rather than a wall? She began to brainstorm ways to involve her community, to lift her friends along with her. A new project started forming in her mind, a community fund, a chance to band together, where the 4 women including herself could support initiatives for the children and families in their neighborhood. It was risky, but hoping to replace the whispers of envy with the gratitude of unity began to seem like a worthy pursuit, but when she shared her idea over coffee the following week, the response was mixed. Some laughed, others scoffed, claiming she was dreaming too big. You think you can save us? A voice rang out. It was Lisa, a childhood friend whose envy was now laid bare. You'll just be another rich person forgetting where they came from. Her words hung in the air like a storm cloud, dark and threatening. Vanessa felt her stomach twist. Could she prove everyone wrong? Would her friends ever come around? The path ahead was twisting, fraught with resistance, yet a flicker of hope ignited in her chest. If they could embrace the journey together, perhaps they could reforge their connections. As days turned into weeks, the battle for the community's heart began. Vanessa didn't just want to rise, she wanted to rise with them. But would they all find the strength to come together in this fight? The question loomed large in her mind as she prepared for a meeting with Victor that could change everything. Would he see her vision for the community? Would he help her turn this dream into reality? The stakes were higher now. Her ambition could redefine her community, but it also risked losing it all. Her heart raced with the exhilaration of possibility, but what if she lost the very thing she was fighting for? The moment of truth was arriving, and she had to ask herself, could she bear the weight of this responsibility alone, or would she have the support she desperately needed? As Vanessa headed out to meet Victor, she stepped into the unknown, ready to fight for both her dreams and the dreams of those she held dear. Vanessa stood outside the sleek office building, the sun glancing off its glass facade like 1,000 tiny mirrors reflecting dreams and doubts. Her heart pounded like the rhythm of a drum. This was it, her chance to share her vision, to prove that success could foster community rather than tear it apart. Today, she hoped to unlock the door to a new future, not just for herself but for everyone in her neighborhood. As she entered the building, the scent of polished wood and fresh coffee enveloped her, invigorating yet intimidating. People walked purposefully around her, their chatter a reminder of how small she felt in this bustling world of ambition. But she squared her shoulders, clutching her notes, breathing deeply to settle her swirling thoughts. The conference room was spacious, filled with sleek furniture and abstract art that seemed to scream efficiency and success. And then there was Victor, towering, charismatic, and wrapped in an aura of power. He exuded confidence, and for a moment, she felt very much like a little mouse in a house of giants. "Vanessa, good to see you," he said, a smile breaking his stern exterior. "Let us hear what you've got." She took a breath, feeling the stakes rise. "I need your help, Victor," she began, her voice steady. "I want to start a community fund. I believe we can create a path that helps uplift families in our neighborhood. I want it to be a collaborative effort where everyone's voice counts. Victor leaned back, eyes narrowing slightly. Sounds ambitious. What do you expect from me? I want to partner with you. You've done incredible things in this community. If we pool resources, we can support local families, create programs for kids, and even partner with local businesses to foster economic growth. Her passion spilled out, vibrant and unwavering. She could see the gears slowly turning in his mind, but self-doubt tried to sink in. Was her idea too big for someone like him to take seriously? He tapped his fingers, pondering. Community initiatives, that's a tricky business. People are often skeptical. Are you sure you can handle the backlash if it doesn't work? The question hit her square in the chest. I can handle it, she said, her voice stronger now. More than that, I want my friends to handle it with me. We need to face it together. I don't want to be alone in this. There's strength in numbers, Victor. He remained silent for a moment, studying her. This wasn't just about ambition, she could feel it was deeper, a fight for her identity intertwined with a desire to lift others. I can see your heart in this, he finally said slowly. But there are people counting on you. This can become something beautiful, she interrupted, a spark of determination glimmering in her eyes. It's not just about me succeeding. I want to give everyone a chance to be part of this journey. His brow furrowed like he was unraveling a puzzle. If you want my help, you're going to have to bring your friends into this. Will they back you? Are they ready for that risk, too? Heat flooded Vanessa's cheeks. Would they stand with her? Good intentions could easily turn into resentments. I believe in them, she replied, clenching her fists. They just need to see it too. Victor leaned forward, intrigued now. All right, let's put together a presentation. If you can convince them, I'll help lay the groundwork. The relief washed over her like a wave. This chance was real, right within her grasp. But a nagging worry bubbled beneath the surface. What if her friends weren't ready? What if they pushed her away entirely instead of joining her cause? As she left the offices, her thoughts raced. She was inching closer to what could be, but the fear of division with her friends weighed on her heart. Would they join her? Would they see her dreams as something worth fighting for, or would they pull away and shatter the fragile bonds she'd worked so hard to build? With each step, the question felt heavier, and her excitement mixed with dread. She had something wonderful to offer, a chance for her community to lift one another, to break through the shadows of jealousy. But could she convince her friends to believe in this dream as much as she did? The answer felt like an echo in the back of her mind, prompting her forward into uncertainty. What if, just what if, this was the pivotal moment that could change everything? Vanessa stepped out into the bright sunlight, her heart still racing from the meeting. The weight of her ambition pressed on her shoulders. She could feel the cool breeze tousling her hair, a stark contrast to the heat of uncertainty simmering inside her. Victor's potential support felt like a beacon, but the image of her friends' faces flickered through her mind, each expression a different possibility, each one carrying its own fear. Lily, her childhood confidant, often caught herself losing faith when faced with big ideas. Would she feel overwhelmed? Then there was Mark, always practical and grounded. He wouldn't let her float away on dreams without a solid foundation. Where would he stand? And then Nash, her fierce friend whose loyalty was unquestionable but who often took a step back when things got too intense. Could he muster the courage to join her? With every step toward her neighborhood, memories washed over her, running barefoot on the cracked sidewalk, sharing secrets under the old oak tree, laughing together as they imagined their futures. These were the people who had shared her struggles and her joys. If she could just get them to see her vision. But vulnerability was nerve-wracking. What if they rejected her? She arrived at the community center, where they had all gathered to discuss plans for the summer festival. The familiar sounds of chatter and laughter greeted her, a melody of comfort and familiarity. Each face was a reminder of the shared dreams they had once whispered. "Hey, Vanessa," Lily called out, waving her over. Vanessa took a deep breath, summoning the courage that had fueled her just moments before. As she approached, the group quieted, their eyes turning to her. "I have something important to discuss," she began, her voice faltering slightly. Each word felt like a stone thrown into the water, ripples of concern forming in the air around her. "What is going on?" Mark asked, concern creasing his brow. "I met with Victor," she said, her heart racing again. The sounds of the room dimmed, and she saw eyes widen with curiosity. "I want to start a community fund. But to get his support, I need all of you on board." An uneasy silence hung over them, the weight of her intent sinking in. She took a step closer, urgency in her tone. "I know it sounds risky, but think about what this can mean for us, for everyone in our neighborhood. We can create programs for the kids, support families in need, and breathe life into our community. Together. But what if we fail?" Nash's voice was barely above a whisper, a crack in his confidence. "What if we succeed?" Vanessa shot back, determination igniting in her chest. "That's what we need to focus on. Imagine what we could do. I believe in us, and I hope you will too." Their eyes darted around the room, exchanging silent conversations. Vanessa held her breath. She needed their trust, their belief that they could turn an idea into reality. Finally, Lily broke the silence. "Vanessa, it's an incredible idea." Emerging from her hesitation, she leaned forward. "But are we ready to take on that responsibility?" "It's a lot, it is," Vanessa acknowledged. "But every time I've looked to you guys, you've been there. This is about lifting each other up, not working alone. Can't we do this together?" Mark nodded, a small smile creeping to his face. I think it's worth considering," he said slowly. "If we all commit, we can lay down the foundation for something strong." Hope crackled in the air. Suddenly, her heart swelled with warmth. "So, can we meet and brainstorm? I want our voices heard. All our ideas count." The room seemed to pulse with newfound energy. Enthusiasm rippled through the group as they started discussing possibilities, their shared visions weaving together like threads in a beautiful tapestry. Yet even as they began to envision the collaborative effort, a gnawing apprehension surfaced in Vanessa's mind. What if the reality of expectations crushed the dream? What if they opened the door only to find themselves facing deeper struggles? She pushed those thoughts back, focusing instead on the laughter and excitement around her. They had made a leap together. She just hoped that leap would lead to something remarkable. As they wrapped up, Vanessa felt the buoyancy of their collective spirit but was still haunted by the fear of the unknown. Little did she know, an unexpected challenge was lurking just around the corner, one that would test not only her resolve but the strength of their bonds. The evening air was thick with possibility, but shadows of doubt crept in the back of her mind. What would happen when they faced the first real obstacle? Would their unity hold, or would it begin to unravel? Later that week, the sun had risen on yet another meeting, but this time the atmosphere felt different. Excitement mixed with anxiety as Vanessa set up the community center's small makeshift table. Mark had suggested they tackle the logistics, and she was all for it. She thrived on collaboration. The chatter and laughter of a few early arrivals echoed lightly through the hall, making her pulse race. Lily sat at the edge of her seat, flipping through her notepad filled with ideas. Vanessa could see her friend's excitement but also a glimmer of worry in her eyes. "Do you think we'll actually be able to do this?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Of course we can," Vanessa replied, a little more confidently than she felt. "We just need to break it down into steps." Mark, with his practical nature, was flipping through documents of potential sponsors and local businesses that could support their initiative. "We need a clear plan to pitch to Victor," he pointed out. "If we can create something that shows how impactful this can be, he'll likely be more willing to provide financial backing." "Right," Vanessa nodded, her heart sinking at the thought of creating a detailed proposal. But what if he's not as supportive as we hoped? Vanessa. Nash called out, entering the room with a stack of flyers. Look what I found. Local businesses are excited. They want to help us. The energy in his voice lit up the space. Really? Vanessa felt her spirit spike anew. She wanted to believe that their community would rally behind their dream. That's amazing, Nash. Let us spread the word then. More support means more confidence. They began brainstorming and, for the first time, it felt like they were genuinely weaving each thread of their ideas together. It became clear that everyone there had something valuable to bring, and as Vanessa watched her friends laughing and brainstorming, doubt slipped slightly away. They were creating something beautiful, something that could truly uplift their neighborhood. As they wrapped up the session, plans in motion, a woman in a crisp blue suit walked into the community center, disrupting the light atmosphere. Her presence was sharp, as if she cut through the room like a knife. Vanessa had never seen her before. "Excuse me, is Victor Matthews' community meeting happening here?" she asked, her voice firm as she scanned the room. Surprised, Vanessa and her friends exchanged baffled glances. Yes. We're getting ready for it now," Vanessa said, her curiosity piqued. The woman scanned each of them, then her gaze fell on Vanessa. "Good. I'm his assistant, and he sent me here to meet with you. He needs to hear about your plans directly. I suggest you're prepared for questions." The air thickened with uncertainty, but Vanessa's heart raced with anticipation. This was the moment she had been waiting for the chance to persuade Victor. She quickly gathered her thoughts, gripping her notepad tightly. "Can we talk right away? We have ideas lined up, and I think it's going to be a game changer for our community," she said, the determination in her voice surprising even herself. "Let us see if you can convince me," the assistant replied, a slight smirk dancing at the corners of her lips. Vanessa turned to her friends, adrenaline coiling in her stomach. "I need you all to be there with me. This is it." Just as excitement began to bubble again, Vanessa felt a formidable weight settle back into her chest. If this meeting didn't go well, it could deeply affect her friends and their dreams. The door opened wider and there stood Victor, a tall figure of confidence, scanning the group with eyes that seemed to probe their genuine intent. Vanessa's heart raced. What would happen when they faced the undeniable scrutiny of someone with so much power? Would she be able to inspire belief in them all when everything was on the line? Vanessa's heart thundered, drowning out the laughter and chatter that had moments ago filled the room. Victor's presence demanded attention, but it was his piercing gaze that truly unsettled her. It felt as if he could read not only their plans, but their fears too. "Good afternoon, everyone," he said, his voice smooth yet imposing. "I hear you have ideas to share." He leaned against the table, arms crossed, a hint of challenge in his demeanor. Nash stepped forward first, backing up their leader. "We really believe our project can change our community for the better. We want to create a safe space for kids, a place where they can learn, play, and grow together." Mark chimed in, "We've got support lined up from local businesses who want to invest in our vision. This isn't just a dream, it's something tangible that can uplift everyone." Victor nodded slowly, listening but never revealing his thoughts. Vanessa felt a mixture of hope and anxiety with every word they spoke. She could sense the weight of expectation hanging in the air, and it pushed her to be bolder. "Mr. Matthews," she said, stepping forward, "this isn't just a proposal for funding. This is an opportunity to show the community that change is possible. We want to involve everyone, all ages. It's not just about building a facility, it's about building trust." Victor raised an eyebrow, intrigued but still guarded. "What makes you think this will actually work? What's your commitment to it?" The weight of his questions felt like lead on her chest. Vanessa had to think quickly. "We've already started reaching out. Our community wants this. There's passion, there's energy, and there's change waiting to happen." As she spoke, she could see the beginnings of interest flicker across his face. The tension in the room was palpable, and she hoped they could maintain this moment of momentum. If we fail, it will not just affect us. It will affect everyone who believes in this. We won't let that happen. Lily, catching Vanessa's intense determination, stepped in, and with your backing, we can provide something more than just a space. We can create programs for the youth, art classes, tutoring sessions. We want to re-engage our community. The assistant shifted slightly, whispering something in Victor's ear. Vanessa tried to focus, to see if this was good or bad news, but Victor kept his eyes locked on them, unfazed by whatever was being said. Minutes stretched like hours as they continued to outline their plans. Each detail felt like another thread woven into a hope they were collectively nurturing. But Victor's expression remained unreadable. Finally, Victor straightened, his demeanor shifting slightly. You all have quite the ambition. I admire that. But ambition alone won't cut it. You'll need to show me proof of commitment, community support, something more than just words. Of course, Nash responded eagerly, we can come back with signatures, testimonials. We're ready to show you how deeply this impacts our lives. A ghost of a smile crossed Victor's lips. All right. I'll be waiting to see what you bring. But be warned, I have high expectations. As they wrapped up the meeting, Vanessa felt the rush of hope swell within her. They had a chance, however tenuous, to prove themselves. Victor had given them a glimmer of possibility. Yet, as they all left the room, Vanessa couldn't ignore the nagging worry eating at her resolve. What if they couldn't meet those expectations? What if this was as far as they could get? Back in the community center, the group huddled together, eyes shining with potential but also weighed down by reality. You think he'll really come around? Mark asked, his brow furrowed. I choose to believe he will, Vanessa said, holding on to that flicker of hope. But would their community rally fully behind them? Would they garner the support needed to prove their worth? Vanessa took a deep breath. The next steps could define everything. Let us meet again tomorrow. We need to strategize our next moves, she declared, determination returning. As they began to disperse, Nash paused. Do we really have what it takes? What if we're not ready? Vanessa turned, meeting his eyes. We have to be ready. We owe it to ourselves and our community to try. The uncertainty hung in the air, heavy and tangible. How could they inspire conviction in others when doubt still flickered within themselves? That night, as Vanessa prepared for bed, her mind raced with unanswered questions. What if they brought the community together but still fell short? Would Victor Matthews become their ally or merely the reminder of their failures? As sleep eluded her, a soft knock at her door broke her thoughts. A shadow loomed in the light from the hallway. Can I come in? It was Lily, her expression serious. Of course. Lily sat down on the edge of the bed. I've been thinking, what if we don't just focus on Victor? What if we reach out beyond him? Vanessa's heart leaped at the idea. What if their strength lay in fostering connections that extended beyond funding? She felt a rush of excitement but also fear of the unknown. Let us brainstorm, Vanessa said, hope surging back to life. But deep down, she wondered, would it be enough? Would they truly find a way forward? Tomorrow, they would have to make a choice: risk everything or play it safe. What would they decide? The sun peeked through Vanessa's window, casting a warm glow over her room. The weight in her chest felt lighter, but the uncertainty still lingered. Today would be pivotal. She got ready, her mind racing with ideas on how to explain their vision beyond Victor, the idea of genuine community involvement. As she arrived at the community center, she found the others already gathered, their faces a mix of excitement and anxiety. Nash was pacing, his hands stuffed deep in his pockets. Lily sat cross-legged on a table, a stack of papers next to her. Mark was doodling absently in a notebook, lost in thought. All right, team. Today is our day to galvanize support, Vanessa announced, trying to inject confidence into the atmosphere. We don't just need them to believe in our project. We need them to own it. What do you have in mind? Nash asked, his voice laced with skepticism. I think we should hold a community meeting, invite everyone, parents, kids, local artists, businesses. We need them to share their stories and ideas. Lily perked up. Yes. We can create an event that showcases the potential of our plans. Maybe even have some activities for the kids. Mark, now fully engaged, added, what if we turned it into a festival? Music, art, games. We can create a buzz. It'll be a chance to show Victor what we can really build together. The group exchanged glances, and the idea began to take shape. Vanessa felt a surge of hope wash over her. This was not just a strategy session, it was the start of a movement. But do we have the time to pull it off? Nash asked, brows still furrowed. What if we don't have enough support? With enthusiasm like this, we can do it, Vanessa insisted. We need to rally together and approach local businesses for sponsorships. It can't just benefit us, it has to show everyone how much we believe in this vision. They began delegating tasks, each person buzzing with responsibility. Vanessa felt an electrifying sense of purpose. Ideas flowed, dreams took root. The air thickened with possibility. Let us do it next weekend, Lily suggested, her eyes sparkling. That gives us time to pull together ideas and recruit everyone. Mark nodded. We can create flyers, blast it on social media, get everyone talking. As they hammered out ideas, Vanessa couldn't shake off the feeling that this was their moment. Yet, anxiety tugged at her. What if nobody showed up? What if they failed to convey their message? Hours slipped by, and they finalized their plan. Afterward, as they stood outside in the fading light, a simple joy warmed them. They were a team again, united in vision and hope. Tomorrow, we hit the pavement and start spreading the word, Vanessa said, her smile bright against the dimming day. We've got this. But just as she turned to leave, a shadow crossed her path. It was Victor Matthews, standing tall, watching them from the entrance of the community center. The air shifted, excitement mingling with fear. What did he want now? Had he returned to squash their dreams? Let us hear it, he said, his tone enigmatic, yet sparks of interest danced in his eyes. Caught off guard, Vanessa exchanged glances with the group. Did he unwittingly support their plan? Or did this encounter spell disaster? Each pulse beat screamed questions in her mind. She had an idea, a light worth sharing, but was this the moment to unveil their grand vision? As suspense hung thick in the air, Vanessa felt her heart race once more. Would Victor pull the rug out from under them, or would he stand by them? Today felt destined to change everything, but in what direction? Vanessa's breath hitched as Victor stepped closer. The shadows of doubt crept back into her mind, but she stood firm. This was her chance, a chance to show him what they could bring to the community, what they wanted to build together. She cleared her throat, trying to shake off the tension. Victor, she started, we've been working on a project aimed at revitalizing the community. We want to bring everyone together to create something special. He raised an eyebrow, genuinely intrigued. Go on. She took a short breath, emboldened by his interest. We're planning a community festival next weekend. It'll be a platform for local artists, small businesses, families, everyone. The goal is to create a space where people can share their stories and ideas, fostering connection and collaboration. Victor crossed his arms, leaning against the doorframe. Interesting. But what's in it for me? Why should I care? That question hit her like a punch to the gut, but she rallied. This isn't just about us. It's about building a sustainable future here. If people see you supporting community initiatives, they'll respect you. They'll believe you're committed to helping. This could change the perception of you and your company and bring real impact." Silence stretched between them. Nash was visibly agitated, shifting from one foot to the other. Lily leaned in, her eyes wide with hope. Mark jotted down notes, barely concealing his excitement. Finally, Victor spoke, "I want to see how serious you all are about this. If you want my support, I expect to see results." Vanessa felt her heart flutter with a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was a test, and she needed to convince him they were more than just a group of kids with a dream. "What kind of results?" she asked, keeping her voice steady. "A solid turnout. I want numbers, Amanda, how many people you can reach. I'll help sponsor the event, but if it flops, it's on you. Deal?" Vanessa responded quickly, trying to mask her surprise and relief. "We'll make sure it's a success. You won't regret this." "Good. I'll need more details by the end of the week," he replied, turning to leave. As he walked away, the weight lifted, replaced by a spark of possibility. The group erupted into excited chatter, each of them feeling the thrill of victory, even though their actual work was just beginning. Nash slapped her on the back. "You did it, V. That was amazing. Now we actually need to deliver," she replied, a chill of determination running through her veins. They gathered in a huddle, energy surging. "We have to go all in," Vanessa said. "We'll make this festival unforgettable. Let us hit the streets, find local businesses to partner with, get volunteers lined up, and spread the word. We can do this." As dusk settled, they stepped out into their neighborhood, the streets glowing with opportunity. One flyer at a time, they shared their vision, connected with strangers, and heard stories they never knew existed. Each conversation sparked new ideas, igniting a connection to the purpose behind their efforts. The more they talked, the more they believed in what they could create together, but as the night wore on and the stars blinked awake, Vanessa felt the weight of Victor's words. What if they couldn't draw the crowd? What if they failed? The fear danced at the edge of her mind. Even as they forged ahead, the following days unfolded with a whirlwind of excitement and chaos, meetings, calls, and planning sessions. But with each passing hour, Vanessa felt the confidence building. They were in it together, growing stronger with each connection they made. Then, the night before the festival, a message flashed on her phone. A disturbance at the community center. Panic gripped her heart, and she could hardly breathe. Racing her bike through the darkened streets, she arrived to find a crowd gathered, murmurs filling the air. What had happened? Vanessa dashed to the front, her heart pounding. Just as she broke through the throng, she glimpsed Victor at the center, his expression unreadable. "Is this part of your festival plan?" he questioned, his voice steady, but heavy with something she couldn't quite place. Suddenly, an uneasy tension settled over the scene, leaving Vanessa breathless and questioning everything she had built. Would this chaos threaten their vision before it even began? The crowd's chatter mixed with the hum of anxiety, creating a tense atmosphere that wrapped around Vanessa like a heavy blanket. She pushed further into the gathering, half dreading what she'd find. A fire truck's lights pulsed in the distance, illuminating the concerned faces of neighbors she knew. Fear gnawed at her, each heartbeat echoing louder in her ears. "Vanessa!" Mark called out, his voice shaky as he weaved through the crowd to reach her. "I heard something went wrong with the center. There's been some vandalism." "What? Vandalism?" she barely managed to whisper. The words felt surreal, as if they were unraveling everything they had been working towards. "What do you mean?" Mark gestured toward the entrance of the community center, and her heart sank when she saw the shattered windows, the graffiti sprawling angrily across the walls. Blood surged through her ears, anger and despair threatening to boil over. "Who would do this?" Nash exclaimed from behind her, his voice cracking. "We're all trying to make this place better." Victor stepped closer to them, any sense of authority now laced with vulnerability. "This is unexpected. But it's exactly why we need events like the festival." His eyes shifted, meeting Vanessa's with a weighty seriousness. It's a chance to show everyone what stands against this kind of negativity. She felt an important shift in the atmosphere. What had been a moment of dread now flickered with a resolve. This wasn't just about the festival anymore, it was about their community. The destruction hurt, but it also illuminated a truth. People needed to see that they could stand together against division. A spark ignited in Vanessa's chest. "This is our moment," she said, her voice rising above the murmurs. "We can't let this undermine our plans. Instead, let us make our voices louder. Let us bring everyone out this weekend. Show what we can do to come together." "People won't show up after this," Lily said, doubt shadowing her eyes. "Not if we let fear win," Vanessa countered fiercely, grabbing Lily's arm. "We need to rally. Create art on those walls. Transform this anger into something beautiful. We could make it part of the festival. A mural of hope." Mark nodded slowly, his initial shock starting to morph into determination. "And we can use social media to capture the moment. Let people know that we stand for this. We'll rise up." The energy shifted, a wave of excitement replacing despair. Each of them had a role, a way to contribute to the revival of not just the center, but the entire community. They couldn't control what had happened, but they could control how they responded. As they brainstormed, Vanessa felt the tension in her shoulders ease slightly. It was going to take hours of work and a rallying cry to build what had been broken, but she could see the glimmers of unity start taking shape. Just as they began to finalize their plans, a voice cut through their conversation. "Are you really going through with this? After everything?" Victor had his arms crossed again, skepticism still etched on his face. "Yes, we are," Vanessa said, surprising herself with her conviction. "We can't back down now." He studied her for a long moment. Then, finally, he nodded, a hint of respect flickering in his gaze. "All right. Let us do this. If we can turn this crisis into something powerful, I'll back you up. Let us show the community how strong we really are." Fueled by that commitment, they mobilized quickly, gathering supplies and using every connection they had to make the festival a beacon of strength. Phone calls mixed with frantic energy, plans morphing into tangible ideas, and just as they began to feel the adrenaline build, Vanessa's phone buzzed again. A message: "Get ready for a surprise guest at the festival." She frowned, unsure what to think. What kind of surprise awaited them? And would it help, or throw everything else into even more chaos? The shadows of uncertainty lurked, ready to strike. Suddenly, this was so much bigger than just a festival. Would they be able to pull it off in time? The sun rose over the community center, bright and majestic. For Vanessa, this wasn't just another day, it was the culmination of weeks of hard work and determination. As she glanced at the ecstatic faces of her friends buzzing around, her heart swelled with pride. With every punch of hammer and roll of paint, they were transforming the community center into a canvas of hope, a symbol of strength against adversity. The graffiti on the walls that had once seemed like a threat now invited vibrant new life. Together, they painted a mural that celebrated unity, resilience, and the dreams they hoped to forge. Children's laughter mingled with the soft brushes swishing over the walls, creating a symphony of healing that resonated deep within Vanessa's heart. The festival day had unfurled like a dream. The smell of fresh food wafted through the air, mingling with the sounds of laughter and live music. Banners flew overhead, each one a declaration of their commitment, these people, their struggles, and their triumphs woven together in a community tapestry. They transformed this space into a festival of celebration and hope. Victor arrived just as the sun began to dip low in the sky, casting golden rays across the scene. His presence, usually commanding, was now softened by the joy radiating from the crowd. Together, they stood on the makeshift stage, surveying the multitude gathered beneath the celebratory lights. "Well, Vanessa," he said with a hint of a smile, "you've done something remarkable here. I see the people are ready to support their community." Vanessa's heart raced. It wasn't just me. This is all of us, united for a cause that matters. If we can rally our dreams into reality, just imagine what we can achieve. The people need to see hope, he replied, nodding toward the joyful interactions among the crowd. And you've given them that. As the festival buzzed around them, Vanessa caught sight of her friend's Mark smirking as he engaged with a local vendor, Nash helping children paint the mural, and Lily capturing everything on camera. In that moment, with smiles and laughter echoing in the air, she understood that this was more than a festival, it was a new beginning. After the festivities wound down and people began to disperse, she felt a tap on her shoulder. It was Victor again. You did well, but we need to discuss the next steps. I'm impressed but want to ensure this momentum lasts. Absolutely, I believe we can sustain this energy, she replied eagerly. I want to keep the community involved, more events, more creativity. Let us not stop here. A thoughtful expression crossed his face. I agree, and I want to support that. I'll provide the funding for a quarterly series of community events. With your energy and vision, we can turn this into something sustainable. Shock coursed through her. You really mean it? Of course. It's time for businesses to give back, and you're right. This community is worth investing in. Tears pricked at Vanessa's eyes. This moment, this support, felt like the turning point she had yearned for. Kicking against doubt had brought her to victory, not just for herself, but for everyone she loved, for the children running playfully across the grounds, chasing dreams side by side. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Vanessa gathered her friends for a final toast. This is just the beginning, she declared, her heart swelling with love and unity. To community. They cheered, hands raised in solidarity, hearts intertwined in hope. In that instant, all the struggles fell away, the whispers of jealousy, the fear of failing her friends. As the laughter echoed around her and the stars twinkled overhead, she embraced the truth: they were together, bound in resilience and a shared vision for a better tomorrow. And now, it's your turn. You need to subscribe now to witness the incredible journey ahead. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more souls. Comment your reactions and feelings about this amazing transformation in the comments below. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring story. Let us bring everyone along on this journey of hope.